Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Engineer Salman Ahmad Khan, and I promised in my previous video that I will going to bring you the video soon about the warehouse management and the automation involved in that. So in the today's video, we are going to discuss about what is the warehouse, how many types of the warehouses are there, how we are actually going to manage it, and what are the latest trend involved in that, especially the automation sides, which is the advanced version warehouses we have seen in many organizations. So we are also going to discuss that what are those parameters that has been adopted in the warehouse. So warehouse is basically used to describe the storage of the goods, and that goods can be the raw material parts or finished products, which will then be sold or distributed or can be consumed through an organization. Uh, Warehouse, as I said, is a very important part of the supply chain. It is basically the center of the supply chain where you actually store anything that could be the electronics spare parts, the mechanical spare parts, large item of the capital part. It could be the plant and the machinery. Other things could be the raw materials or the household items. So warehouse is basically used to store all these items, and it is basically used to store these material in a better storage management side. And of course, we're going to discuss this in the warehouse management side. So warehouse basically ensure the safe storage, protects good from damage and the loss. It is basically the center where we can actually improve the inventory controls and operations. And this is basically the center where we can ensure timely delivery and customer satisfaction and further focus on cost-effective solution through the better utilization of the resources. So what is warehouse management? Warehouse management is the process of efficiently controlling and operating the entire warehouse to ensure that we have the right product in the right quantity at the right time and in the right condition. Now, how it can be managed well? Number one is that you need to keep tracks of the item. You have to keep tracks of every item so they can be found readily and corrected. So it's mean that in the warehouse, you need to actually put every items on the shelf, on the pins, with the proper location, with the proper addressing, so that when the customer need it, it is available readily and it is available with in its original condition. So you have to basically uh, minimize your physical efforts and the cost uh, by ensuring that those goods are available readily and they are safe and sound in the warehouse. So you need to actually minimize the total physical efforts in this regard to ensure that you have keep your inventory or product safely, and thus the cost of the moving goods in and to or out of the storage. So an important thing is that you need to actually focus on providing the proper communication. The proper communication in the warehouse is very essential. Communication could be in form of informing the user that your shipment has been received, informing to the procurement department that the good receipts has been received and they have been generated, making a data of the issuance of the material, making the data of the fast moving inventory, making the data of the slow moving inventory, making the data of the, we can say, dead inventory. So, these all are the communication links which are essential and a very important part of, in order to run a warehouse effectively. So all these things moves towards timely customer services. So in warehouse management, you need to keep tracks of the items in order to improve your accuracy and efficiency. When I talk about efficiency in the warehouse, it's mean that you have to optimize your space and resource for the maximum efficiency. And then focusing on reducing the cost, especially regarding to the operational cost, and focus on increasing your productivity to increase the customer satisfaction. Since customer satisfaction is one of the most important part of the supply chain, so in the warehouse, you also need to ensure that Your every product is available on the bin with the proper location, with the proper addressing. And of course, I'm going to explain it and discuss with you later on in this presentation. Now, moving towards the next slide, that what are the warehouse operational activities are. The warehouse operational activities in the supply chain are: first, they receive the goods from the supplier and verify quantity and the quality as per the purchase orders raised by the procurement department, or you can say they actually verify the quantity and the quality through the inspection certificates or the shipment documents comes in the import shipments. They identify the goods, inspect and identify the goods and records the detail, dispatch the storage to the goods, move goods to the assigned storage locations. This is very important part and essential and imperative part. I must say that the warehouse house staff should keep it in mind that once they identify the goods, the most important responsibility is that they must move the good to the assigned storage location and then also incorporate it in the system, which I am going to discuss it later on. Then hold the goods. You actually hold the goods, store goods safely for the required time period. Pick the good, retrieve the required goods from the storage as per the order, as per the reservation. And then marshal the shipment. You either give, if that is the small spare part or a part of machine, you give it to the user. But if it is a big shipment, like you have to consolidate it and prepare goods for the shipment. And that marshal the shipment comes in the finished good warehouse where you actually dispatch the product of your company. And then you use the logistic here. You use EV forklifters for loading into the trucks, and then operate an information, maintain accurate records, and provide timely information regarding to the dispatch. So this is basically the overall operational activities of the warehouse. Now, factors of the efficient productivity in the warehouse. Keeping in view of the key performance indicators, the first thing is that you need to maximum use of the space. You need to ensure that you are using the maximum use of the space available in your warehouse. And then the effective use of the labor and the equipment. Ensure that the right people and the equipment are available for utilizing efficiently. And then the cube utilization and accessibility. Cubes means the bin locations, the sections where you are actually going to store the product. You have to maximize the cube usage while maintaining easy access to the goods, and make sure that while you are putting the goods on the cube, you have an easy access to the goods whenever you need to issue that based on the user requirement. And then there is the stock locations comes, of course, when you place those materials in the bins, you have to actually identify or mark the location, because there could be around thousands of products available. And when you put them on the bins, you can forget. So in order to, for your easiness and for the automation purpose, you need to actually make the stock locations, or you can say address those locations, so that whenever you need, for example, I need a fastener and there are 5 locations, stocks location. If I do not make a name location, they don't actually name a location, and I wanted to find a fastener, it will be very difficult for me. And thus it will impact on my customer satisfaction. So for that reason, in order to smooth the order picking and the assembly process, I have to make sure that my stock location is available. So streamlining picking and assembly process to improve the accuracy and the speed is one of the efficient productivity in the warehouse. And the last one is the packaging. Of course, this packaging comes at the time of distribution, whenever you wanted to actually dispatch the product of your final finished product of the company. But when you are dispatching or issuing the spare parts, packaging did not need. You did not require any packaging. So I talked about the maximum use of the space for the warehouse. So this is the slide of that. Usually the largest capital cost is for the space. So you need to do the efficient use of the space significantly in order to reduce the overall operating cost. And this means that not only you have to use the floor space, but the cubic space as well. or you can say the goods are stored in the space above the floor as well as on it, like mezzanine floor. And most of the companies I have seen is the warehouse, and they have actually make a mezzanine floor over there to maximize their capacity, to maximize the space capacity. They utilize vertical space to increase storage capacity and improve the overall efficiency. One of the best way to increase warehouse capacity is to add a mezzanine, as I already discussed. Since a mezzanine creates an additional storage area without increasing your building footprints. So in this way, you can improve your efficiency, increase the capacity, and lead to better return on the investment. Next is the cube utilization and accessibility. So warehouse cube utilization is the total available space within your warehouse that is actually utilized. If you have filled every available spot in your warehouse with a product, then you have 100% warehouse cube utilization. Cube utilization may also be one of your better KPI, could be your key performance indicators, and can have a sophisticated racking systems as well. You can also have the racking system as well if you don't want to have the cube utilization, and that allow the placement of the boxes and the pallets of the floor at the multiple levels if you have the bigger shipments, bigger parts as well. So stock location, this is the location which I was discussing about in my previous slide, that the stock location or warehouse layout is concerned with the location of individual item in the warehouse. So with the stock locations, you actually uh, keep related item in the same area for the better efficiency. Like fasteners has a same stock locations, like bearings, like circuit breakers, like sensors, like shaft couplings, So you group these items individually and categorize them based on their usage. Like you group fast moving items together, place high turnover items in the easily accessible locations. And then you also basically group physical items physically similar items together. Store items with a similar size, shape, or handling needs together. And then you locate working stock and reserve stock separately. So once you actually address these location, it's become very easier for you to issue the materials based on the user requirements. So stock location is very much important and one of the better and one of the most important KPI of the warehouse. So stock locations can be like you have a plant and you have 3 warehouses, and everyone has a different storage locations, and in that storage location you have a warehouse where you have a multiple storage types. In stock locations there could be a fixed location. Fixed location system could be an SKU is assigned a permanent location or location and no other item are stored over there. There could be the floating location as well. In a floating locating system, goods are stored whenever there is an appropriate space for them. Point usage of the storage, sometimes particularly in repeated manufacturing or in the just-in-time case environment, inventory is stored close to where it will be used. In most of the cases, there are some storage locations where you need immediate inventory, like in the steel industry, you are making a particular heat. I mean to say you are going to melt the scrap to convert into the molten metal, and to convert into the molten metal you need some alloys, some mill scales into that, and for that reason you need to have the storage location which is near to your induction furnace or manufacturing location. So these kind of store location are also available near to the manufacturing facility where the immediate inventory is required based on the concept of the just-in-time inventory or based on make to order concept. So point usage of storage is also available in that. And there is also a central storage as opposed to point use of the storage. Central storage contain inventory in one centralized location. So these are the kind, or you can say types of the storage locations in the warehouse. So I was talking about the order picking and an assembly. So order picking and assembly is directly linked with the stock location. If you have an efficient stock location, you could have an efficient picking of the materials as per the user requirement, and you can actually easily work on that because in that way you can reduce your travel time and picking cycles. When there is a faster picking, there is a high accuracy. High accuracy means there are fewer errors within the organization system, and it leads to the better efficiency, optimize labor and warehouse productivity, and lower the cost of it. So it means that if you have a better storage location with a proper marking, your picking and assembly time is automatically reduced. You know where the stock is available based on the user requirement. By incorporating those stock locations into the systems, which I'm going to tell you later on the slide. So it means that storage location addressing is very much important. Now, physical control and the security, while you are working in the warehouse, it is very much important that you must look into the physical control and security of your inventory, since the inventory is basically holding the huge capital of your company or your organization. So in order to control that physical controlling and security, you need to identify the materials, verify the quantity, records the transactions timely. In most of the cases, whenever there is an emergency, you will take it on a manual document. But as the time passes, you need to actually put it on the system so that your inventory transaction could be timely done, because it directly links with the financial statements of your company. So you have to look the physical execution of the transaction, limited access of the people in the warehouse, well-trained workforce who knows the issuance of the inventory, who know the placement of the inventory, who know the criticality of the spare parts based upon the cost, quality, and their functionality. So another important thing is that inventory record and accuracy. Most of you most of you people have heard that every year um, there is an audit happens in the company, and those auditor land directly in the warehouse where they actually do the audit of the inventory available in the warehouse. They actually used to do the audit of the stock counting, inventory counting, that if, for example, if fasteners are 500 available in the system and their holding cost is around 1 lakh rupees, so they used to audit that, that if there are 500 quantities available in the system, which is reflecting 1 lakh rupees in the financial statement of the company. So it means that inventory record and accuracy is very important for the persons, for the professionals who are working in the warehouse. If the inventory records are not accurate, there will be the shortage of the material, disrupted schedules, late delivery, loss of the sales, low productivity, and excess inventory of the wrong things. So this needs to be done very carefully. So why is inventory accuracy is important? If we have a poor inventory accuracy, it could have impact on overall systems. When the overall systems actually got impact, it actually caused uh, a huge disruptions in the company, and it actually impacts on the people, on the process, on the data, and the technology. So it means that you need to actually focus on the people, on the human errors. You need to actually provide them the training. You need to actually make your process efficient, and you have to design the layout of your process efficient so that you have a correct data. Incorrect data entries, like duplications, like inaccurate master data, would actually hamper um, your overall entire process. And at the end of the fiscal years, the company wanted to publish their financial statements. So if you don't have the accurate inventory, it could impact your financial statements. And because in the financial statements, inventories, or you can say stock keeping units, plays also their cost also being shown on that statements, that how many costs, that how many inventory carrying cost, or how many line items the company is carrying. So being a warehouse management professional, it is imperative that we must minimize such errors. We have to do the auditing of the inventory records. As you know, the error occur and they must be detected so the inventory accuracy can be maintained. So there are basically two methods of checking the accuracy of inventory. Number one is the periodic cycle inventory, and number two is the annual cycling inventory. So these methods are very important to audit the record of the inventory accuracy and to find the cause of the record in order to minimize the inventory errors and to ensure that there is a proper accuracy, because complete inventory report actually reflects the healthier financial statement of the company. So in the inventory record, we have to eliminate the manual error, minimize order cancellations, identify inventory shrinkages, and ensure that accurate inventory reports are available. So this all matters because it actually reflects the efficiency in the system in order to have the better decision making to increase the profitability of the company. So periodic annual inventory counting, the primary purpose of this method is to satisfy the financial auditors that the inventory record represent the value of the inventory. So it means that present inventory record should be checked properly to the planners. The physical inventory represents an opportunity to correct any inaccuracies in the record. So it means that you have to, periodically audit your inventory, whereas, the financial auditors are concerned with the total value of the inventory, while the planner are concerned with the item details. So the responsibility for taking physical inventory usually rests with the material managers, who should ensure that the good plan exists as it is followed. So as a financial auditor or as a warehouse manager, our prime objective is to satisfy that the inventory record represent the actual values of the inventory so that they can actually incorporate in the financial statements of the company. So another one is the cycle counting of the inventory. This audit method is a system of counting inventory continuously throughout the year. And in this method, physical inventory counts are scheduled so that each item is counted on a predetermined schedule. And it depending on their importance, sometimes items are counted frequently throughout the year, whereas others are not counted. So this strategy is depend upon the timing or the scheduling, and the purpose of the count is first to find the cause of an error and then to correct the cause so the error is less likely happen to again. Other thing is that count frequency method of the inventory, and the basic idea is to count some item each day, so all items are counted a predetermined number of times each year. So this strategy is also adopted where some of the items are being taken based on the strategy of the Pareto analysis, like high cost items are taken or any items which are being consumed more throughout the year. So it depends upon vice versa. So this strategy is adopted while we are doing the inventory audits in the warehouse. And that strategy is basically the ABC analysis, or we can say Pareto analysis. So ABC analysis is basically a way to categorize your inventory into 3 or more groups, with A designated item requiring your staff primary attention, and C items the least amount of attention. B items could be or either higher value with a limited turnover. So in this way, you can actually audit the entire inventory of your warehouse. Now, coming to the warehouse automation. Now, in most part of the world, many organizations had adopted this strategy or this change in their warehouse. They have adopted the automation. And why they have adopted an automation? They have adopted the automation to maximize the efficiency and accuracy in the warehouse operations. They adopted the automation so that they can streamline process, reduce errors and cost, and help managing inventory and improve safety conditions for the worker. So warehouse automation use technology to streamline the inventory management, storage, and the shipping. It is basically You can say it is a process involved replacing manual labor with the machine equipped with the RFID optical recognition of barcode scanning for faster and more accurate tracking of the goods. So what warehouse management systems has been designed so far in the world of the automation. So I have an experience of working in the ERP side of the warehouse management system in the SAP, where we have worked on the storage bin locations for planning and monitoring, and later on it also have the RFIDs related barcode scannings to controls the warehouse operations. So warehouse management systems are key components of the supply chain and offer real-time visibility into the company entire inventory in the warehouse and the transit. It helps company manage and control daily warehouse operations from the moments of the goods and materials enter a distribution or fulfillment center until the moment they leave, thus increase in inventory accuracy record. So I have worked in the storage bin locations, and I will be discussing this later on this slide. So warehouse management system in the SAP is all about that. And yes, the storage bin locations and the placement in the warehouse management are like that, that there is a shelf over there. You have basically three bins, and in the three bins, you have put the those fast moving items up in the side, and you can say less moving items we have placed in between, or fast moving items we have placed down the line. So this bins location section is an organization subdivision of a storage type which group together with similar attribute for the purpose of the putting away the inventory. In many high rack storage areas, low level bins are large because they are reserved for particularly bulky and heavy parts. So um, mostly in the warehouse, low level bins are large because they are reserved for particularly bulky and the heavy part. And I absolutely agree with this regard. I have myself placed such parts at the lower side, and I have placed the fast moving items on the upper side of that. So that's how storage bins and the placement in the warehouse management system works. And this is the address of the bin location structure in the SCP, which you have seen, or you can go on through that you define the zone number, the rack number, shelf number, and the bin number. So in this way, you actually incorporate the stock location, storage location, or the bin locations in the systems. So what are the other applications of the warehouse management system? They helps in the saving and putting away the process by using the RFID technology and integration with the billing. At the time of billing, you have normally seen in the big grocery stores like Imtiaz, Walmart, whenever you actually pick and collect all your groceries and pay for the grocery at the counter. So at the counter, the cashier normally use the RFID technology or the barcode scanning, so that the items can be automatically recorded, updated against the digital purchase orders with the scan of a barcodes and with the label printed for the easier storage and retrieval. So in this way, they actually manage the inventory based upon the issuance at the counter level, and later on they actually plan their inventory based upon the sales or the distributions. Um, so this is the application of the warehouse management, where it also helps some warehouse management solutions to fulfill order using technologies such as a single order picking, batch picking, zone picking, and cross docking. So this actually helps in shipping, yard dog management, and developing a warehouse metric and data analytics also. So Internet of Things and the warehouse management, which actually reflects the Industry 4.0 concept, is one of the most important and latest trend in the warehouse management, where the Internet of Things include any object or thing that can be wirelessly connected to the network. IoT has more specifically comes to mean connected things that are equipped with the sensor softwares that allow them to transmit and receive data for purpose of informing user So these IoT sensors are basically used in the inventory management. They for real-time inventory visibility, stock tracking, for better accuracy and control. They are also used in the asset tracking, temperature monitoring, security purpose, and for the predictive maintenance and route optimizations. So in the warehouse management, IoT has a greater role in tracking the inventory as well as the asset tracking along with the security, which enables surveillance and access control system to enhance the warehouse security and the safety. So IoT has a bigger role in the inventory tracking. They can be used in the real-time location tracking of the items. They can be used to automate the inventory management systems, and they can be used to guide warehouse staff in picking and packing of the order. They can use for collecting, analyzing data on inventory movement, sales trends, and demand patterns, providing insights to optimize inventory level. They can be used for the stock rotation, like these sensor can monitor the age of product inventory, alerting staff when products need to be rotated or removed from inventory to ensure the freshness of the product, like in case of the bearings. And they can also be used for monitoring the shelves and storage areas to ensure products are stored correctly. So these are the applications of the IoT in the inventory tracking, and where we have also seen the robotics in the warehouse management, and there could be robotic arms which are used to for picking, palletizing, depalletizing, and sorting. There is also AGV, automatic transport of the materials and the good across the warehouse. We have seen conveyors and sorting robots, high-speed sorting and automated flow of the goods to the right destination. There are also robotic forklifters. We have also AI vision systems for inventory scanning and real-time stock verification. The benefits are they increase productivity and through outputs, improve inventory accuracy, enhance safety for the workers, and reduce the operating cost. So we also have forklifters in the warehouse management. Right now, as we are moving towards the green supply chain practices, normally organizations are trying to use the electric forklifters, which is ideal for indoor operations, unlike the diesel forklifter, which do emit carbon footprints higher than the EV forklifters, but they are useful for heavy loads, for lifting the heavy loads. We also have the pallet trucks, best for short distance movement and light loads, and reach truck as well for narrow easels and high rise storage systems. So these are also the resources of your warehouse for the better warehouse management systems. So thank you very much for joining me this session. I hope you like my session. Please give the comments in the below link, and I request you to subscribe my YouTube channel. Until then, I will be presenting you the next video on the supplier relationship management. Thank you very much and have a nice day.